watching the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. High stakes this afternoon from the Austin Regional. This afternoon, inside Gregory Gymnasium, it will be on 10 as the host team, the Texas Longhorns, host the Cougars of BYU in the round of 16 for today's regional semifinal. Both teams swept through the competition in the opening rounds of the NCAA tournament to advance to this point. Now, we know both of these teams have very storied programs, especially for the Texas Longhorns, but we've got some young stars emerging here this season.
Oh, you're right, Tiffany. We've got the freshman of the year for both of the conferences represented here, and McKenna Miller and Micaiah White. They both play outside all 6 rotations and produce for their teams in points and defensively with digs. So it'll be fun to watch the young ones help their teams continue to advance in the NCAA tournament.
Well, here's what's at stake. BYU making their 5th consecutive regional appearance for Texas. Well, they've been here several times before, 11 on their side. These two teams last met back in 2014 in the national semifinals. It was the Cougars who bested the Longhorns in a big upset as we get things underway here from Austin, Texas. The service error gives the Longhorns the quick point. 24-4 on the season are the Longhorns, ranked number 4 in the country and the number 4 seed, which is how they were able to host something new that they're doing this year in the tournament. Amy Boswell pushes it over. And Micaiah White, you see her number 1, just look out for her. She might be coming, but instead it's Paulina Prieto-Sarame, number 19 in white. And White couldn't get to it in middle back.
And right now, BYU doing a good job just playing in that transition. Amy Boswell doing a good job getting off of the net, making sure she's behind the 10-foot line and ready to take on whatever her setter can give to her in transition volleyball.
Tristan Mosier in to serve. And there's Ebony Wanabu. They'll get a steady dose of number 2 in white this afternoon.
And you see Ebony Wanabu, she can hit from the left front, from the middle, and she can run a slide behind, but her true position is that right side. So be able to watch her, it's fun because she can hit from every single spot in the front court.
Here's Boswell back the other way. And Amy Boswell, the 5th-year senior middle blocker, taking care of business. Now let's take a look at who's planning for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, I think in order for BYU to have success, they have to find balance offensively. They've got 4 players averaging over 2 kills per set, and they definitely need that going forward against Texas. And as far as the Longhorns are concerned, it's hard to slow them down as long as they have ball control. So plays like that, when it's coming back over and you have an opportunity to play transition volleyball off of it, there has to be someone out there calling for the ball, getting a nice 3-pass up to the setter, and allowing them to run their offense because they're difficult to slow down. I mean, they have got some true thoroughbreds in the front row that can play great offense.
And it was Miller taking a big swing, but blocked on the right side by Yazzie Berdakani and Ebony Wanabu. Wanabu, an all Big 12 first-teamer, transferred in from USC, and she has upgraded this squad for sure. An already stout group under Jared Elliott. And Chloe Collins couldn't get to it, but you see just what BYU is able to do. They're just so tough. They stay within themselves, and they make it work.
And Jared Elliott did say about this BYU team that what concerns them is that they never seem to be flustered, really. I mean, they do such a great job battling back, and that's one thing he's been telling his team. Just be prepared for anything to come at you.
Wanabu with the hammer. When I tell you, when she rears back and takes a swing, you better watch out if you're on the other side.
And that's the first time that we've seen her in systems get a set from Chloe Collins. You see it's high, right out to the pin, giving her a lot of room to work with, and that's what she does when she has an opportunity to get a good swing on the ball. And there was also a late block coming in from BYU.
Here's McKenna Miller, 14 in blue on the left side, takes care of it. Gives the Cougars a 1-point advantage.
McKenna Miller. We told you to watch out for her in the open, and she's just a freshman, but West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year, and that's one of the reasons why, the way that she can put the ball down with the first swing.
And here is the Big 12 Freshman of the Year in Micaiah White, who we also mentioned.
Yes, Micaiah White, now she goes back to serve because, again, she plays all 6 rotations, but what you love about her is the freshman has a lot of tools she can use with her shot. She's not always going to swing hard, but she's going to find ways to produce and get kills.
Out of Frisco, Texas, standing at 6'1" on the serve and into the net. Well, this Texas Longhorn team facing off against BYU, coming in, having won 13 straight and their 3rd straight West Coast Conference title. So the team out of Provo has been on a roll.
And interesting to think that Texas does not come into the tournament having won the Big 12. And after talking to Chloe Collins, a senior for this Texas team, she said that really did hurt, but hopes that it's the kind of fuel that this team needs to maybe bring home a white banner, a national championship at the end of the season.
It's the first time in 6 years that that's happened for the Longhorns. It belongs to the Kansas Jayhawks, who were knocked out by another team that we'll see later today in the Creighton Blue Jays. Good rally going back and forth. Prieto Sarame, a nice save and dive for the Cougars, but extinguished that run there on the left side from the Longhorns.
Nice, solid double block. Prieto Sarame doing a good job with the tip. Thinks that she found just enough court, but the pancake keeps it in play, but right back at it with a good swing block and able to terminate that play.
Hands high, and Chloe Collins on the second hit tried to get it over. Lindy Paddock sets it up for the right side hitter. And Jones Perry and Boswell. Look at her. She's excited from that middle blocker position, one of the seniors on this group, and she's been here before. They're hoping that she can continue to do more of that.
Well, we've always known Amy Boswell for her offensive prowess. She's been working on fine-tuning her blocking, finishing, pressing, and holding, and you can see it's definitely having a great effect against Texas right now.
White able to bounce it off of Boswell to get it to go down and hit the floor.
The great thing about having White in the back row is that she can still swing if things get out of systems for Texas. She's going to be able to hit that pipe. It's a back row attack. As long as she jumps before the 10-foot line, she is allowed to take a leap and a good swing on that ball.
On the scoreboard, it says that BYU got the point. There is no challenge review system in the NCAA tournament this year. It will be implemented next year, but of course Big 12 play and some other schools and conferences elect to either take part in it or not. Of course, you think back to last year as Haddock gives them the 2-point lead from the setter position. So Texas takes a quick timeout. And we'll step aside as well. BYU up 9-7 here in the first set.
The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently.
Chevron funds the Fab Lab because it's where kids in the real Richmond learn they can build almost anything, including a future in science, technology, engineering, and math.
How are we gonna restart school? I got a plan.
We got the makings of a supergroup.
Stay away from those girls. I'm trying to keep you from getting hurt.
I can't get hurt anymore.
I bring me, get mine, about mine, go hard, looking for another like me. What you get is what you see, and I bring
You're watching Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. So back here at Gregory Gymnasium, and Ronnie Jones-Perry on the serve, the sophomore outside hitter. And Paulina Prieto-Cerami, what an angle she takes from that left pin.
And really a great job of Chloe Collins, who was pushed all the way to the right front of the court, being able to get under the ball, get her feet to it, and push it all the way out to that left pin. So good work by the senior setter as well.
Transferred in from Penn State, originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico, as Prieto-Cerami, as Chloe Collins back to serve. And just a misfire there.
Collins was going to serve that front zone, trying to keep it inside the 10-foot line. When you see a server go back and attempt that serve, they're trying to create some kind of chaos for all of the hitters that are trying to run their lanes and get to their position to play offense.
Well, they trade points on service errors. And for Texas, so far in this tournament, they've hit a solid 400 in the last 4 matches, right now being held to 176. And Boswell with the heads-up play. Looked like it was teetering on the net, the tape, and Boswell just made sure to go over.
Yeah, and a good swing by McKenna Miller, too, to swing high off the hands of that Texas block, because we know they're going to be physical, but Miller doing a good job using the block to help teammates like Boswell be able to come up with a huge kill on the overpass.
Wannabu with the tip, nice save from Haddock. Wannabe once more, got a touch on it to the Cougars, but it bounces out.
And now's a good time, Ebony Wannabu, this is her last rotation in the front row, to just get her going. If there's a good pass, I would get it to right front and let her take a rip, because right now BYU does not have the answer in the front row for the swings that she's taking from right front.
The set to Miller. Dug out in the back row from the Cougars, and how about it? Everyone stands to their feet inside. It's Gregory. It's tied at 11-all. Morgan Johnson.
The sophomore getting up and finishing, recognizing there's an overpass. You could see her tracking the ball over her head and making sure she pressed and penetrated to keep the ball on BYU's side.
Whitney Young-Howard in on the kill. Young-Howard, one of those fifth-year seniors, was a part of that 2014 crew for the Cougars. As we look at Heather Olmstead in her second season, her brother, Sean, was the head coach at the time, and she's taken over this team and done a terrific job. There's Miller. Boy, I tell you, she hit that one just inside the boundary line, but a deep corner shot.
And I like the decision to just get her set a little bit off the net when Ebony Wannabu is up blocking against her, giving her a little bit more space to play with. That allows her to hit the deep corners of Texas's backcourt.
Just mishandled there for the freshman libero, Mary Lake. So White on the kill.
And Micaiah White, it seems like the freshmen are just firing back and forth at each other. If we see White get a kill, then we might see Miller on the other side get a kill, going back and forth, but both doing a great job producing for their teams right now.
See, the thing about it, Maria, is they knew we were talking about them in the open, I believe. I don't know, maybe telepathically it got to them. So they're looking to rise to the occasion here in this semifinal, and that drops in for Jones-Perry. Jones-Perry has been on a tear as of late, coming off of a 17-kill performance against UNLV in that second-round win.
And she's had to move around and play a little bit of right front, play a little bit of left front due to injuries. One of those utility players that you always need to have on your court that can play anywhere in the front row.
Morgan Johnson just showing off her incredible athleticism. We talk about White, but so is Johnson, a rising star for the Longhorns.
Yes, Morgan Johnson, you know, Chloe Collins said she's one of those players that she turned around and told her, I'm just so proud of you and what you've been able to do, the way that she's grown and matured. And you see the swings that she's taking right now, the confidence that she shows running that slide, and is a really reliable force in the front row now.
And an excellent serve for the freshman as the back judge says it's in, and it's a service ace. So White records her 21st service ace of the season. And a net violation called on Johnson as she tried to contest that shot from Whitney Young-Howard. Setting things up, here's Lacey Haddock. Nice diving dig. And how about Prieto Sarami? Again, we talk about just how sharp she hits it within the 10-foot line.
And how about the dig from the freshman, Micaiah White, that sets this all up. She's got to get under the ball, recognizes it, gets a little dolphin kick at the end. Chloe Collins is there to set up Prieto Sarami, and a great finish from that left front.
What's so interesting to watch about White's game is a little bit of mixture of power and finesse. The tip there, Haddock, out of system. Can the BYU Cougars convert? Certainly. That's what Jones Perry likes to do. Anything you toss up to her, she's going to make it work.
And we're seeing a lot of the balls that BYU hits in between right back and middle back go straight down to the floor. A little bit of miscommunication by Texas on whose ball is that, who's going to take over that lane and dig that ball up. But BYU has found a little bit of a soft spot in that Longhorn defense.
The free ball over. Texas with a chance. And Prieto Sarami, once again, second team All-American. Coming into this season and really has blossomed into an impact player for Jared Elliott.
Yeah, and outside hitters, the further and further you go in NCAA tournaments, the more they get relied upon, because you're not going to be playing perfect balls every time. You're going to be in transition a lot. You're going to be out of systems, and that's when you need players like Prieto Sarami to step up and find ways to get kills with balls that aren't exactly perfect.
And the dump over from Haddock, and she did that a little emphatically from her setter position.
Lindy Haddock, she was taken out in the last round against UNLV, but she comes right back in starting as the setter, and she's made some great decisions here, setting her players up, her hitters up to be successful so far, getting a lot of one-on-ones, helping them out, getting a little bit of a hole in the block. So Haddock doing a good job just running her offense right now, helping it click.
And her twin sister Lacey on the serve as the Cougars still have a 1-point advantage. Prieto Sarami once again recording another kill, this time her 5th of the match.
Now's the time you'd like to hear Ebony Wanabu's name mentioned again. When Texas gets the opportunity and Chloe Collins gets the opportunity to set right front, now would be a good time.
Instead, Miller terminates that one. Well, I tell you, McKenna Miller, who is having to come in and fill some big shoes. Alexa Gray was the big BYU star for the last 4 years. She was a kills machine, and Miller has done a great job of trying to establish a name of her own. Another swing there and a big celebration from the WCC Freshman of the Year, and that causes Jared Elliott to take a timeout as the visitors, the 13th seeded BYU Tigers, up by 3 here in the opening frame.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today, I'm just an aluminum can, but one day, I could be a stadium.
The West Coast Conference champions up by 3 over the 4th-seeded Texas Longhorns. And Marie, I'm just curious to know, what are the Cougars doing to have this lead?
Well, right now I'm just impressed with the scrappiness they're showing on defense. I mean, no ball is going down. Even if there's a hole in the block, we're seeing great defense be played, and it's really anticipation defense. So you're seeing the back row diggers and playing defense sitting down in the holes of the block. If there's a space, if there's a seam, they're sitting in it and they're picking it up, which will just frustrate the Texas hitters. And at the end of the day, BYU is doing a good job finishing out those long rallies and winning them, which ultimately builds momentum.
This time, Micaiah White is able to get it down, number 1 and White. Thanks for those of you just tuning in here at the Austin Regional, the first of 2 semifinals from Austin, Texas, as BYU has a slight advantage over the 4th-seeded Texas Longhorns. Maria Taylor, Tiffany Green here with you. Micaiah White, one of the stars of today for the Texas Longhorns, but McKenna Miller also a big-time player as well for BYU.
Yes, and what we're seeing is some freshman phenoms certainly leading their team right now, and BYU relying on McKenna Miller in that front row, and Micaiah White is doing a great job in all 6 rotations, making sure she helps defensively and putting balls down in transition for the Longhorns right now.
When you're taking a look at what BYU is doing, they're hitting .324. Meanwhile, they're holding Texas to under that at 270. I mean, who offensively has gotten it going for them? Because it's not just Miller.
Yeah, and we've seen a good job of Amy Boswell playing out of the middle. She is a senior for BYU, one of those players that they have certainly been relying on throughout the season. And Boswell has shown up very well, especially in transition, getting off of the net and making sure that she can put some balls down. And then you also see on Texas's side, Paulino Priete-Sarame. What we've seen from her is during transition for Texas, she's the go-to. It hasn't been perfect balls, they haven't been pretty balls, but she's doing a good job putting them down, keeping them in play, not necessarily trying to go for the kill, but trying to put pressure on BYU's defense. And that's what you need from your outside hitter right now if you're Texas.
She's got a match-high 5 thus far in this first set, and you made a comment before just about how teams will have to rely on their outside hitters that much more, especially when you get deep into the postseason.
Because you're going to see longer rallies. You're not going to see the first kill or the first ball kill, because you're going to see great defenses and teams that have the ability to keep rallies going. So you rely on your outside hitters as your setter's running all over the place. You're going to see him setting from all the way over in right front, right back, middle back, and that's when you need your outside hitters to step up with 2-ball passes and be able to find ways to get a kill.
What's at stake for both of these teams? BYU making their 5th consecutive NCAA appearance, and Micaiah White tying it up as she's hoping that her Texas Longhorns can go on another big run. You hear the roars inside Gregory Gymnasium. To Miller, and what a dig by Kat McCoy. Wannabu can't get to it in time, so way to answer and kind of hush this crowd a little bit.
Good job with the swing and just showing no fear again, and that's basically what we have seen from McKenna Miller so far in this set. Goes up, swings hard, and she shows no fear of this big Texas physical block.
That's what's so impressive about this BYU team. Seeded 13th in the tournament. They are just not fazed by anything. They just keep playing no matter the name on the front of the jersey. And a net violation called on BYU, so it's even once more. Ronnie Jones-Perry continuing to emerge.
And coming out of the middle this time. Again, we said she's a utility player for BYU, so you'll see her hit in the left front, right front, and there she's coming into the middle, going up against a double block, still finding a space for her kill in that deep back corner.
Morgan Johnson is denied along that left side as the Cougars up by 2. You got to give credit to Lacey Haddock.
How about Lacey Haddock doing a good job staying ahead of the set, just 5'10", but jumping at just the right moment to keep that ball from coming over on BYU's side.
Micaiah White, number 1 in white, puts it down.
Big 12 freshman of the year, now rotating into the back row, but she's had some good swings in this rotation, the first 3 that she's had, where we've seen back-to-back great kill swings. We also saw a good roll shot back down the line, so she's really hitting her groove in the front row offensively.
And they watch that one drop in. So it's tied at 23.
Great thing about a jump serve is you can serve seams. You see that? That's the 5-6 seam, and no one talking on BYU's back row, that back court, and unable to find a way to come up with that pass. But how about the freshman showing no fear, just lining up saying, I'm going to tie this thing up.
22 service aces, the second of the afternoon for Micaiah White. Well, college basketball continues on ESPNU tomorrow at 3:15 Eastern as Nebraska takes on the 3rd-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. Then after that, it's Duke and UNLV. Both games are streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. Well, back here, this Texas Longhorn crowd so pumped up. That's what makes it so difficult when you're in an NCAA tournament and you're going into a hostile environment, someone's home gym. They make every point feel like it's the biggest point of the match.
Well, I thought it was funny because I was talking to Chloe Collins yesterday, and she said, I hate playing at Nebraska. It's just such a difficult place to play. And I said, girl, what do you think people say when they come to Austin? It's not an easy place to play. She's like, I know, but it feels good to me. Yeah, that's exactly the way it is. If you go to Nebraska or these schools, these places that love volleyball, you're going to see a line waiting for people to come in and watch a match.
Good look here at Heather Olmstead in her 2nd season with the program. They had the misfortune of running into Nebraska in last year's Lexington Regional. Cornhuskers, the national champions, just skate by Penn State this afternoon after being down 2-1. Tied 23 all here. Whitney Young-Howard taking a swing at it. Prieto Cerami coming right back, and that's set point. Texas, it's the first lead since 7-6 in this first set. There's a dig in the back from White, so she has been busy on that back row. And Texas hangs in there and takes the first frame as the Longhorns won 8 of the last swings, and they close on a 4-0 run.
That offensive power they needed down the stretch and really was led to by the freshman Micaiah White stepping back to that service line and setting up the aces that Texas needed to get over the hump. And just like that, the Longhorns, they get the lead in set 1 at home. The fans are pretty happy here in Gregory Gymnasium.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
You're watching the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Well, it was a tight one in the first set, and this is only going to set up some high-level volleyball not only this afternoon, but all weekend long as the Texas Longhorns take it from BYU in that first set. But Maria, I've just got this weird feeling that that BYU isn't going away.
It's a tough team. It is a tough team, Tiffany, and all we saw from BYU is every time you felt like the momentum might be shifting for the Longhorns, I mean, they were right back in it, holding on to the lead. And you said it, the first lead for Texas in the set after leading 7-6 was not until set point. So that just goes to show you how much BYU dominated that entire first set and how difficult it was for Texas to even make a break or create a little bit of breathing room in the first.
Just off the net, kept alive somehow. Great defense from the Longhorns. They try to get back in position. Jones Perry goes once again to Chloe Collins. And trying to give a one-handed stab from it. No good. How about Texas, though?
The defensive determination that we saw from Chloe Collins, keeping that alive. Ebony Wannabu getting it out of the net, and then Collins runs back into the court and gets the next dig. You didn't even get to see that play because we didn't have enough time to run the replay, but she steps right back in the court and gets 2 straight huge digs to keep that play alive.
The senior setter only helps to gain and push the momentum for the Longhorns. She served the first 2 points of this second set, and Coach Elliott just talks about what a great quarterback she is at helping to run this offense to perfection.
And remember when Collins first came to Texas, she was a part of a little bit of it. 6'2", we've seen Nicole Dalton also set this Longhorns team, and now this is completely her squad.
And that one, the right back at you at Prieto Sarame as BYU gets on the board. Boswell just kind of mistimed that when she knew it.
It looked like the set was just a little bit low from Lindy Haddock, or a little bit of miscommunication. I feel like we saw that on both sides, a little bit from the setter middle communication on Texas and then right back at it on the BYU sideline. And Amy Boswell was a player that we saw get going early in the first set for BYU, and that really fueled that offense for the Cougars in the first.
Listening to Boswell again, and not able to get to that one as 3 white jerseys try to converge on that tip shot. Boswell with the kill.
Because Boswell has such a great swing, and we know that she can swing with velocity, when she goes up for a tip, it just kind of catches the defense stuck on their heels because they're so prepared to dig a hard-driven ball.
There's no undigging that one from Ebony Wannabu. Just such a powerful swinger.
And a lot of times you know exactly where it's going. Ebony Wannabu, she wants to hit that cross-court shot, and you see Boswell trying to get in there late, but so much velocity and power coming from that right front position.
Out of system, but still taking a big hack at it is McKenna Miller. Once again, Kat McCoy with a great dig to keep this rally going. McKenna Miller once again. And that went off the antenna. So Texas with a 3-point advantage.
Let's give a little love to the liberos of the world. And how about Kat McCoy going for it, laying all the way out, can only get one hand on it, but keeping that ball alive. That's the kind of digging with range you want to see from your libero. That means you see how far she was outside of her original stance to keep that ball alive? That's what you like to see from your libero.
And much like we saw in the first set, BYU remaining composed, answering back. They get a point here. Boswell, one of the captains for this group out of Aloha, Oregon. Sometimes there's no defense for Ebony Wanabu.
And that was a great play call, too, because you saw Morgan Johnson. She went in front of Chloe Collins, and then Ebony Wanabu went in for the quick right behind. So that front from Mo Johnson actually held the middle block for BYU just long enough so Ebony Wanabu would have no one up against her.
There's White, the tip shot. And Miller just too strong. Largest lead of the match for Texas.
McKenna Miller looking for the high hands that worked for her so well in that first set of the Texas block. She's trying to use the block right now by hitting a little bit high. She's trying to catch a tip or a finger off of the block.
Whitney Young-Howard, and on the right side, can't get it past Makaya White. And how about the setter's dunk? Chloe Collins, all Big 12 first teamer. Feeling good, feeling great are the Texas Longhorns. They're up 8-3 here in this regional semifinal.
So you can't save money? That's easy as pie. Brown bagging lunch instead of going out. $6 save times 5 days a week times 10 years is $21,000. That's a lot of lettuce. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
We all live for football, and we're headed to the playoff. Life is a sport. The Ford Escape. Be unstoppable.
We have to go back to 2014, the national semifinals, when these teams last met, BYU and Texas, and the Cougars came in unranked, started out the gate strong with a 2-0 lead match, and then Jennifer Hampson's 22 kills and Alexa Gray's 19 would help them go on to beat Texas 3-1 and pull off that huge upset as the Cougars lead the series 10-6, but here this afternoon, it's a different story and a completely different Texas team.
Yeah, and it was a dream season for BYU. Amy Boswell, she remembers that game. But players like Mary Lake, the freshman libero for BYU right now, she's like, I was a junior in high school then, but I do remember watching it on TV. And of course, the Cougars trying to relive it again and get the upset against the Longhorns.
And that one is in, so that kind of slows down a run for Texas.
Good job, McKenna Miller. Look at all that line that Chloe Collins was giving up. She's just using what the defense is giving her on that play. Just heads up volleyball out of the freshman.
Miller with 7 kills on 21 swings. Here's Morgan Johnson, 12 and white, way to keep it alive for the Cougars. And that point goes to Texas.
Yeah, that last ball wasn't going over the net, so it's really a 4-hit call because it never came over the net onto Texas's side. It's a good call.
Rejection. Morgan Johnson pumped up. Well, folks, the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship coverage continues with the national semifinals Thursday, December 15th at 7 p.m. on ESPN2. For more information on the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Once again, and I'm telling you, Makaya White has been golden from the service line.
She has, and what you're seeing is she has a jump top spin serve, so it's almost like attacking the ball in the front row. But the speed and the velocity that the serve is coming over with, it's almost as if you have to get down and dig it, not just pass if you're BYU right now. You have to get behind it and dig that ball up.
Too strong from White. You can't count this BYU team out. They are certainly a unified front, and they build themselves of just some really hard workers. But they've got to be careful here with Texas feeling it. So back-to-back points for the Cougars.
And BYU, they say that it's all about team. They're not focused on one go-to player. It's not about making sure that one superstar gets enough sets or kills, because they perform as one unit. You kind of see it in the box score for them, 4 players averaging over 2 kills per set. And right now it's about finding that balance again. It's about setter Lindy Haddock finding ways to set up some of those one-on-one matchups that she had in the first set again.
Last touch by the Cougars, so the lead now to half a dozen for Jared Elliott's squad. And so much like we saw in the last match when BYU played UNLV, Lindy Haddock subbed out Alohi Robbins-Hardy there, number 3 in blue, helping to set that point is in.
And remember, Robbins-Hardy played in that BYU matchup against Texas. That was an upset in the NCAA tournament that allowed them to play in the national championship. So you're just putting a veteran on the floor, someone who has kind of been through this matchup, knows the Longhorns as well.
Well, BYU is not hitting the ball particularly well here in this second set, especially. They hit so well in that first frame, but then have kind of trailed off.
And I think that's why Heather Olmstead decided to go with the setter change, just see whether or not Robbins-Hardy could get a little something else going for the hitters right now, because Texas is very much so ahead of the offense for BYU right now.
Well, Yazzie Berdatyani from that middle blocker position, something that Jared Elliott tweaked with this season. 3 middle blockers going with Berdatyani.
Yeah, and he made that tweak about 3 matches into Big 12 play, and that's kind of when Texas started to hit their stride even more. But he's been tinkering with that front row, trying to come up with the exact perfect science at that middle blocker position.
The tool of the block on the right side was Ronnie Jones-Perry. Jones-Perry has been rocking it during this NCAA tournament. And the service error from the sophomore.
We just haven't seen very many clean opportunities for BYU to run their offense. We saw so many great scrappy plays in that first set where you could see BYU playing through transition, getting a couple swings out of their middle and their left front, and now just trying to find ways to get it going. And Robbins-Hardy, again, has entered the game. New setter in for BYU, trying to get it going.
You see number 3 in blue trying to contest the block with Boswell unable to do so. Robbins-Hardy, a junior setter out of Hawaii near Honolulu, and a timeout taken by BYU once again. So after a back and forth battle in the first set, it's Texas trying to run away with it here in the second set.
Shh, it's a library, not a drum circle.
Shh. I'm trying to study. You want to take this inside?
Do you want to take this inside?
Yeah, I can't wait to take this inside.
We are so taking this inside.
Don't wave that dinky little axe in my face. Oh. Uh-oh! Here comes the boom!
It isn't always easy to know where you stand financially. Multiple accounts, investments, insurance. At Northwestern Mutual, we help you see your whole picture, find out what you truly want, and we design a plan to go get it. We help you live life differently.
You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live.
Help us beat cancer. Log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. And our colleague Holly Rowe is one of those strong women helping to try to win the fight against cancer. And well, she's a tough cookie, wouldn't you say, Maria?
She is undergoing chemo treatments while working. Nothing has ever slowed her down. You would never know that she was even undergoing or dealing with something as grave as cancer.
Beloved by so many, no matter where she goes.
Loved in this volleyball community as well.
Absolutely. And Micaiah White out of system. The set from Brownsville, and White gets it down.
And we see White going with the off speed here. You know, the ball coming across her body. She decides to turn it down the line. Just a great push, a shove down the line. And we've seen her use a lot of different shots, which you need from an outside hitter in out of systems plays, and she's able to terminate.
And there, a service ace for the libero, Kat McCoy. Going back to Micaiah White, she's got 10 kills. The only one in double digits in this match for the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. And Boswell coming down strong. So they'll need more of that, as we saw some of that, as you mentioned, Maria, in that first set.
And as you saw, the connection happens for BYU when it's a good three pass and you give the setter the opportunity to set all three positions. But right now, BYU just struggling either on defensive transition or with the serve receive to get a good pass up to their setter right now. So they're gonna have to rally around points like that, use the Texas error to continue to serve tough, get back in their defensive stance, and give their setter a settable ball.
Boswell, fifth-year senior, standing at 6'4". The middle blocker serves it up. Chloe Collins. What a set right down the pipe to Morgan Johnson.
And it was a one-on-one battle. Mano y mano, just middles going up against one another, and Morgan Johnson gets the win there. Good jump set you see out of Chloe Collins. And the finish by the sophomore, who is just this season starting to get a lot of play. She comes in as a new fresh-faced starter for the Longhorns.
And White among the other new faces for the program, but it feels like she's been here for a while. But just the way she plays is just so mature, so much more developed.
She's not in 6 rotations. She never shows any sign of instability. She never seems overwhelmed at all, and that's serving, passing, and blocking. Every single aspect of her game as a freshman is really, really, really spectacular.
Redshirted last year from a stress fracture. Wow. The defense, that's something that Jarrett Elliott talked about from BYU. Just their great defense, but even better offense and swing from Johnson.
Well, we talked about rallies going longer and longer as defenses stay in it. And how about Mary Lake, BYU's libero, getting up under that ball, trying to keep it alive. Texas ultimately having the final say, but great hustle defensively by the Cougars in that rally.
A double-digit advantage for the Longhorns. And they have created some serious separation here in this second set.
It's becoming Morgan Johnson's set. She's just decided to come in and take over. I mean, a great finish out of the middle blocker, getting an incredible roof there, but we've also seen her with some great kills running right down the pipe, ones in front of the setter. Chloe Collins, the sophomore, has stepped up and taken over the net here in the second set.
And just to think, she only played 17 matches a season ago, but worked hard, conditioned to get in great shape, and we're just seeing what's to come from the sophomore as the Cougars.
And it probably helps to be playing behind All-Americans, and that's something that Morgan Johnson had. She was able to sit for a season, play behind great players, see what it meant, you know, to kind of be a Longhorn, what you have to go through, and now it's really paying off for her in her sophomore season.
Right, the pendulum swings down.
right now, Chloe Collins, the senior setter, doing a good job just spreading it out offensively. We're not seeing her go to only one player. We have seen everyone have an opportunity when there's a good pass or a good dig to get a swing on the ball.
And the Cougars with a couple of substitutions as McKenna Santiago and Lacey Haddock come back in. Santiago runs to serve. The senior out of Highland, Utah. Second-year starter for this group. The Cougars have quite a deficit to dig themselves out of, and now set point Texas.
No surprise there. How about Morgan Johnson sets up the set point after the set that she's been having here today.
Well, you said this set belonged to Morgan Johnson. See if she can finish it off here. Mary Lake on the serve. The team's Energizer Bunny, they call her. Micaiah White. We started out talking about the freshman, and we'll go into intermission talking about Micaiah White. What an afternoon she is having. The Big 12 Freshman of the Year with 13 kills. Now we'll send it back to the studio with a third set shortly on the way. But now, let's go to our studios. You're watching the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Back here at Gregory Gymnasium, and the Texas Longhorns up 2-0, and they're led by the freshman and Big 12 Freshman of the Year, Micaiah White.
Yeah, we said keep an eye on this phenom. Here's why: because she can go back to the service line, get you a top spin serve, and get an ace. Then she was playing great defense in the back row, digging with range, keeping balls alive for the Longhorns, and hitting out of the back row behind that 10-foot line. She comes up with set point, and check out these numbers: 13 kills, hitting almost 500, 8 digs, 2 aces. Just kind of iced the cake of what we've seen from this freshman phenom through the first 2 sets, who has been very, very reliable for these Longhorns.
And just to think, Maria, she's had 20 kills in the first 2 matches of the NCAA tournament. She's just 7 away from that here this afternoon. You see the numbers as Texas hitting a 355 clip through the first 2 sets as we are underway here in the third. Ebony Wanabu gets things going in this set right out of intermission.
And Texas, really, we saw in that second set, Chloe Collins distributing the ball well, but it seemed as though the offense was coming easier for the Longhorns in that second set, and they were getting first ball kills.
Back the other way, the BYU Cougars making things happen with McKenna Miller.
Another great freshman, and for BYU, she was going in that first set. I mean, almost every ball that she touched was a kill, so they're certainly going to want to see if they can get her going here in this third set.
If she had the golden touch, they'll hope that she and Amy Boswell can get right back into that rhythm. Ronnie Jones-Perry also had a hand in it.
Great swing again by White, and you see adding a little bit of a roll shot here. She's got a nice arm on it, but I call that the money spot right there, a really hard cross-driven ball. No one's there to dig that one. That's why it's such a great shot, and another one of those shots that she has in her toolkit that usually freshmen don't show up with. They have to learn and practice that.
She was the #4 ranked recruit coming out of high school. The Texas native, as BYU evens it up. You're looking at this BYU crew, again, 3 straight WCC championship titles or conference titles. And Morgan Johnson, we saw her just slowly but surely get cooking from 1 set to 2.
Yeah, you're right. Only 1 kill in the first set. She had 4 in the second set. And I think you kind of started the conversation about BYU and what they've been able to do over the last few years. But if I think of what they are, and it's just tough as nails when you think about this team. I mean, they definitely stay in every single set. And even though they were behind, it never seemed like they were out in that second set. They just have to find a way to get some of those early kills, terminate early offensively.
Well, Amy Boswell, one of those players who mentioned saying, look, we are a team that just doesn't give up and we will never go away. As this is a great rally between the two wonderful pancake digs on both sides. Nicole Dalton, McKenna Santiago, and the Cougars. To your point, Maria, they keep hanging in there.
They do. Lacey Haddock finally coming up with that kill, but the longer the rally goes, the more momentum you gain by winning that point, and that's exactly the kind of play that BYU needs on their side in order to get rolling.
And I'm sure there is no panic from this crew. The defining moment for them this season was when they were down to Ohio State 2-0, and came back to win it in 5 straight sets. Now, BYU with their first lead since the first set.
Yeah, Heather Olmstead said she knew this was a special team when they came back and won that match. And here they are again, down 2 sets, but not out. This is a team that you can never count out of a match because of the resilience they've shown already this season.
Lacey Haddock, but there was a net violation called on the Longhorns, so a point for the Cougars either way.
And you're starting to see the Cougars come alive. Great swings, a lot of confidence being shown by Lacey Haddock on that left front, just going up and taking rips because she has great sets coming to that left pin.
On the slide, and we talked about Morgan Johnson, how well she's done, but Chloe Collins now with 32 assists for the Longhorns.
And you're seeing just about every ball that she sets allows her offensive hitters to have a one-on-one block, and that's what, as a setter, you're just trying to figure out. How do I put my hitter in a position to have success, to only go up against one blocker or to have a really great seam? And so far, Chloe Collins has done a great job of that while also being offensive-minded herself. We've seen her go over on 2 a couple of times, and that also helps you hold blocks and make it easier for your hitters.
Boswell with the roof on it.
Boswell been working and fine-tuning that blocking of hers and just, as you said, put a roof right over the swing and closing out. You see a great swing block, and she finishes right to the middle of the court.
Texas with a lot of history, a lot of success in the NCAA tournament. They're 11th, trying to get to their 11th national semifinal. They've been to 11 rather, trying to get to their 12th.
And I think Texas would love to see Nebraska again in the NCAA tournament. I mean, I know I would love to see it as well. But talking to these players, they definitely feel like they left a little something out there on the court, and that's what they're fighting for. That's what they're playing for right now.
They got past Minnesota in last year's national semifinals. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship coverage continues with the national semifinals Thursday, December 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, make sure you log on to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Falling to the Huskers in the championship match. That was a tough one, though, just because of where it was played in the home stadium gymnasium, as Verdakiani on the kill. And Coach Elliott couldn't stop glowing about Verdakiani, just inserting her into the lineup and then just the presence that she's had from the middle hitter position.
Yes, Yazzie, as they call her, has done a great job of just taking ownership of that position. And she might not get kill after kill after kill, but she's never out of position. She is always going to put up a strong block, as you see right there. Called her number, and she comes up with the roof. But she does a good job with her footwork. I mean, she moves laterally well. She's going to transition and get off the net and be ready to take a swing, and she's going to hold blockers because of her presence and size in general.
6'4" sophomore out of Los Angeles, California. And there's Whitney Young-Howard, a name we haven't called a lot for BYU, but she is certainly wanting to get more involved in this offense, and that's something that Coach Olmstead has focused on towards the latter part of the season.
Yes, and as Whitney Young-Howard continues to go, I mean, she could add in those couple of kills that BYU needs just to get over the hump. There could have been a couple of kills in that first set that could have brought them away with the win.
And that was dug out by Roundsville. There's White, and White too strong.
And BYU right now doing a good job staying in the long rallies. It might not be walking away with the kill, but they're staying in it. They're putting pressure on Texas, allowing the Longhorns to potentially make a mistake, or they're able to come up with good blocks. And they're doing a good job just slowing down the offense by getting hands and good touches in the front row.
There's no slowing down that powerful swing from Yazzie. McCoy to Collins, Jones in the middle. And right there, nice block touch from Howard. And there she is again. That offense you talked about, she had 9 kills and 7 blocks against Princeton in that opening round match.
Yeah, Whitney Young-Howard, another one of those senior leaders for BYU that has been through a lot, and she understands how to stay calm, bring stability to her team, and right now she's bringing offense to the Cougars.
Nice dig there by the libero, Mary Lake. She is again setting up the offense, and a net violation called on Texas. So Heather Olmstead sees her team take a 3-point lead over Texas. They are going to fight and claw and battle their way as they're trying to hang on in this national regional semifinal.
Discover card? I'm not a customer, but I'm calling about that credit scorecard. Give it? Oh, sure, it's free for everyone. Oh, well, that's nice. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. Oh! I'm so proud of you. Well, thank you.
Free at discover.com/credit scorecard, even if you're not a customer.
NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently.
So much heart, passion, and emotion when you get to especially this point in the season, as all smiles from the BYU bench. And you'd like to see that. They just look like a loose group coming in here. They've gotten out to their largest lead of the set using a 4-1 run.
And I do believe that the difference right now for BYU is they are playing loose, a little bit freer. It seemed like things got a little bit tight in that second set, but what is there to lose at all at this point? They're going up and taking great rips, and you're seeing it reflected right now in their hitting percentage and the way that they're just going up and attacking and not really caring about the block that Texas is throwing up right now. They're just looking to create their offense by using power.
And there again, Whitney Young-Howard, so she has been quite active in the last several points for the Cougars.
Certainly a difference maker right now, as you see the Cougars hitting over 300, way up from that second set where they were just above 100 hitting. And we saw a lot of blocks in that second set, but you can tell Heather Olmstead must have told her team, guys, this is it. You might as well go out swinging, and that's exactly what BYU is doing, playing very smart, high IQ volleyball here in the third set.
She's looking to break through and pull off an upset, much like her brother did when he was leading the charge. That one was back in 2014 in the national semifinals. And that one just off of Haddock. So Mo Johnson back to her old ways once again.
Very active in the front row, and this is when Texas only has 2 hitters up front. Chloe Collins now the setter. She is in right front, so that's when you see Morgan Johnson get even more swings in the front row, and that's when we saw her kind of take off in the second set. You see that White stepped over the line as she's trying to get her jump serve down. I thought the last serve was a little bit close. I almost thought she touched the line on that one, but it's called for her second serve.
Boswell, Prieto, Sarame, and Johnson says,
Setting up a little roof of their own, getting shoulder to shoulder. Texas usually does a good job of making sure they have 2 blockers up at all times, even if the attack is coming out of the middle. They want to have 2 blockers there if they can get them there.
Sarame again hitting it hard. 24 kills coming into this match in those first 2 matches, and she's got such a heavy hand. Wow, great shot there from Lacey Haddock to answer on the other side for the Cougars.
And a good decision by Haddock to go after Morgan Johnson, who only stays in for that 1 rotation to play defense. Just hit it at the middle blocker, who's not used to having to play any of that floor defense, and coming away with the kill.
That one, a misfire.
Prieto Sarame, I think those eyes got big when she realized she only had 1 blocker up against her and knew that she had a lot of cross-court area to work with, and then sailing it a little too deep on that cross-court attack.
And Makaya White coming out of nowhere. She just sailed into that one.
Yeah, you can see that she's got ups. I mean, she gets off the ground, can jump out of the gym, and that was a pipe. That's a back row attack that she's swinging at, but it's coming with the same velocity as if she was swinging out of the front row.
Nice set to the outside for Miller. Miller says, yeah, it works.
Right, because she knew she was put in a really, really tough situation. That ball was very, very tight to the net, and she's just trying to keep it alive and goes straight down the line with it.
Out of Murrieta, California, top volleyball prospect coming out from the left coast. Nothing you can do with that one. Just try to get out of the way.
A great decision, a one-on-one blocking situation for Yazzie there coming out of the middle. And we've also seen with her that when she has an opportunity, she hits it very high hitting percentage, and she takes care of that first ball kill. The first opportunity she has to touch the ball, it usually goes down.
Hitting at a 376 clip this season. And there's more efficiency from Yazzie.
Another great swing out of the sophomore, leading in hitting percentage, and that's why she can get all the fans up and standing to their feet with the kind of play that she displays on the court.
So for this Texas team, Jared Elliott says, look, we are playing some of our best volleyball of the season. We kind of started off the year a little erratic, but we have settled in and figured ourselves out. Well, it's 18 all, but Heather Olmstead has relied upon the balanced attack of her crew all season long, and this afternoon is no different.
5 players with over 6 kills. And this is a team that has 4 players averaging over 2 kills per set. And I said it before, it's not relying on one go-to player. BYU is one of those teams that everyone has to absolutely give in this offense. They need every single piece of it.
Well, this is the first lead for Texas. They're able to grab it back after being up 3-2. And Heather Olmstead wants a timeout. We'll step aside as well as we've got a good one cooking, a seesaw battle here in Gregory Gymnasium.
Go live when something just happened in the game that left you completely flabbergasted. Wait, what? Did that one player / coach / mascot really just do that? You can't be the only one trying to make sense of this. So grab your phone, open Facebook, press this, and go live. Ask your friends if that actually happened. It did. Then debate how that's even possible. All right, just remember, there's still plenty of game left.
I'm here in Bristol, Virginia, and now I'm in Bristol, Tennessee. No matter which state in the country you live in, you could save hundreds on car insurance by switching to Geico. And now I'm in Virginia Sea.
See how much you could save on car insurance.
Welcome back here to Austin, Texas. This week on ESPNW.com, Green Bay takes over the top spot in mid-major rankings, plus the Irish head coach Muffet McGraw disappointed in pretty much everything after that loss to UConn. And finally, why Jeremy Lin and Jason Terry are rooting for a special young lady. You'll have to go to ESPNW.com to find out more. Looked like that could have been last touched by the Longhorns.
I thought maybe Collins got up and touched it.
But instead, the point goes to the Longhorns. And White Adam.
Great defensive play by Chloe Collins. Ball coming straight at her face. She was able to get up, get the block, and keep it alive for White to use the BYU block. You see she just turned it right off of that right front block.
Just playing a little defense, trying not to let it hit her too hard was Autumn Brownsville. And it's BYU getting the point. McKenna Miller subbing out. McKenna Santiago in the serve. Great dig there from Mary Lake, and Lacey Haddock puts it away.
The heart and soul of BYU's team is just a freshman, Mary Lake, and that's exactly what she was able to do. She put her heart and soul out there to get that ball, keep it alive. It's do or die right now for BYU. They've got to come right back with defense after that missed serve. I mean, they have to be able to put this ball away and string together a couple of points.
This has been a resilient bunch all season long, facing a great test on the road here in Austin. Whitney Young-Howard says, I'll answer the call, the fifth-year senior.
And we have seen Whitney Young-Howard really come alive here in this third set. I mean, when she's getting her opportunities, great swings, and she's going up against a really physical Texas block, but she's using the hands of the block to generate kills.
Good serve from Lake. Free ball for the Cougars. Boswell met by Johnson. And how about Chloe Johnson? It's just all falling in favor of Texas.
Rarely do you see your setter get to go up and take a rip on a ball, but Chloe Collins was ready for this overpass. Off 2 feet, little deep swing down into the corner. The seniors just eating it up. A little too much sauce out of the young leaper. You see she got over the block as Amy Boswell tried to come in and take it away from the senior setter.
Standing at 5'7" is Collins. Well, immediately following the Heisman Trophy presentation tomorrow, it's our next 30 for 30 film titled Catholics versus Convicts, the story behind the 1988 college football game of the year between #1 Miami and #4 Notre Dame that sparked more than just a controversial t-shirt. Catholics versus Convicts, presented by Minnie, tomorrow at 9 Eastern on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. And you gotta know that Chloe was probably just like waiting for that opportunity.
Yes, she knew it was gonna come.
She knew it was gonna come at some point, and I'm sure during practice, she's just
they
like,
practice it.
You know, feed me, and then
they always give, you know, the under 6-footers. That's what you have to call them. They always get at least one chance to take a swing, and she definitely took advantage of it.
Well, Heather Olmstead's team is their backs are against the wall against this Texas crew that has just been so tough, not only all year long, but historically. You come into Gregory Gymnasium and you see all the banners hanging. The 3 national championships, 2 within the NCAA, 11 national semifinals. You see just what they're able to do over that time, and Jared Elliott really helped to return this program back to a national contender when he took over in 2001. Boswell with the touch. There's Kat McCoy, and from the back row, Micaiah White. Good save there. Here's Boswell, off Dalton.
And here's BYU's chance. They certainly need to string together points, but it's gonna have to come off of a tough serve. How do you get Texas on their heels offensively? You put them in a pressure situation from the service line right now.
Collins to Johnson, match point Texas. The winner of this one will face either Creighton or Michigan. That's our next match from here. And Boswell staving off a match point. BYU has another lifeline.
So much fight in this Cougars team. Remember, down, but they are certainly never out. They know what it's like to battle back from being down 0-2.
And there they are once again, such a resilient bunch. And the Cougars bench just erupts along with Amy Boswell on the court.
Backs against the line, having to fight off match point, and you see they just go right back to their keys of blocking and taking great swings.
And a terrific serve from Lacey Haddock. A timeout taken by Texas, so not so fast as BYU traveled all the way from Provo, Utah. They said, we're gonna make a match out of this, baby.
Yes, and now they are looking at set point in this match, and it's been one fueled with runs and opportunities, and BYU missed a few in that second set, but they're making their own opportunities right now, and that was a great serve out of the back row. I mean, you have to go back there with the intention to put pressure on passers, and coming up with an ace is certainly huge as you're trying to get a win here in this third set.
This is such a fun team to watch because they have so much fight in them, and they never go away. They never give up.
And Heather Olmstead said it's just been such a fun team to be around. I mean, they enjoy playing together. Maybe more importantly, they enjoy playing for each other. You know, genuinely, you could see the excitement on the bench when one good thing happens on the court, and that's something that you'd like to see from your team. But then you add to that the fact that they're playing very, very good, high volleyball IQ. And I think that we're seeing it down the stretch because there's some seniors out there that have been in this situation. And remember, this could be the end of their season. I mean, they are fighting to not be done with college volleyball right now.
4 seniors on the Cougars squad. Paulina Prieto-Cerame, one of the seniors for Texas Longhorns. And this is what you want to see in the postseason. Haddock on the serve.
They're saying that Micaiah White stepped over the 10-foot line before taking off. She's a back row attacker, so she would have had to leap before stepping on that 10-foot line.
So BYU extends this match. They close out the 3rd set on a 4-0 run. Let's get another look at that as Micaiah White ends that 3rd set on the miscue, and so the Longhorns still up 2-1, but watch out because the Cougars are on the move.
Once you get in the Army, you hear the term Ranger, and you look at it as the highest standards. I was extremely proud to be part of the 1st Ranger Battalion. When I was deployed, I knew that USAA was taking care of my wife when she was back home. And now I know with my son, the USAA will continue to provide the insurance and protection we need.
They always say, you've served your country, so we're here to serve you.
My name is Alejandro Villanueva, and I'm a USAA member for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
The rematch is now set. Well, let's get it on.
The National Championship, Clemson, Alabama, Monday at 8 on ESPN.
Maria Taylor, Tiffany Green here with you from Austin, Texas, and this has been a terrific regional semifinal between BYU and Texas. You see the Cougars ended that 3rd set strong. Micaiah White, though, has been excellent on the other side for the Longhorns. 17 kills and 10 digs, a double-double for the Big 12 freshman of the year.
Yes, and it really had to be relied upon when Texas was in transition, when they were out of systems a couple of times, and she has definitely carried that load, and they're going to need her here again in the 4th set. So it doesn't end for the freshman at home in Austin.
Haddock pushes it out to Miller. And Prieto-Cerame on that left pin. Watch out on the block.
A great placement by Ebony Wanabu, just sending the ball over into a soft part of the defense and forcing BYU to go with that right front attack. So all the blockers for Texas knew exactly where the ball was going.
The hot heater from Prieto-Cerame.
Great tempo from the Texas offense to start out. It was good speed, getting it out to the antenna and getting it out to Prieto-Cerame, who is ready on that left pin. She had a really great 1st set, and back here getting started early in the 4th.
So McKenna Miller gets BYU on the board in this 4th set.
And a good job by the freshman. Even though she got blocked the first time, she came back with a nice deep shot into the corner.
Yanni tried to poke it over. Instead, Ronnie Jones Perry hits it up. Number 2, Wanabu and White. Gets it across. Ebony Wanabu, who transferred over from USC. She was the National Freshman of the Year back in 2014. So much acclaim coming from this young star.
Just had to battle back from injuries, deal with the transition. Jarrett Elliott says that they've grown to have a great relationship now, and that's always good when you're good with your head coach, and she's obviously a star. But one thing to know about Ebony Wanabu is she's very, very smart with her ball placement. She believes that she should get a kill every single time she touches the ball, and it doesn't have to be with her use of power. It's definitely shots that she goes to as well on the right side.
Coach Elliott believes she has world-class talent, and her ceiling is incredibly high as BYU evens it up at 3-all.
Just cranking it out and working hard. That's what BYU did throughout the first set, even though they didn't take it, and being able to fight off 2 match points and get the set. Huge for the Cougars' momentum right now that you can see they're still feeding off of here in the fourth.
I think celebrations are a really important part of this sport. And Amy Boswell, every time she gets a ball to go down or is in on a block, I love the way she shows her excitement. Paddock to Boswell. Nice dig by Roundsville. Number 1, White. White again. And the block on the right side was Boswell and Jones Perry. Set it back up again for the right pin. Excellent rally between these two.
Seeing great touches on the block on both sides, just slowing the ball down. That front blocker.
You're gonna have to call this a marathon point. Whoever gets it, it's BYU. What great effort on both sides.
And we saw both sides, the hitters going up, trying to pick their shots, trying to play with these out-of-systems balls. 1 minute and 3 seconds. That's how long that ball was in play. That's how deep we are in the NCAA tournament, when you can have a rally going that long as teams are trying to stay alive.
Do we have another one on the way? Nope, that one bounces out. Haddock sees it, goes outside the boundary lines. And BYU has doubled their lead, so we will step aside as this one continues to get better and better. You want to keep watching? Come back with us.
Bro, your stuff is on fire.
Someone better call the fire department. Woo, woo.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Bro, your stuff is on fire.
Someone better call the fire department.
Yeah, you should call the fire department. This is your stuff.
More people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm. Here to help life go right.
The national championship is here.
Watson, touchdown! A tremendous evening for this Clemson offense. Look at Bo go! The Tide defense rolls again. The rematch is now set. Let's get it on.
The national championship presented by AT&T, Clemson, Alabama, Monday at 8 on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Jabril Peppers, Deshaun Watson, or Dede Westbrook. That's the question. Who will win the Heisman Trophy? That presentation presented by Nissan coming up tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN, where we feature 2 sensational freshmen in the Opens, and they're living up to their billing.
They absolutely are, both leading their team in kills right now, and we've been talking about White playing all the way around, already has a double-double. And McKenna Miller still not showing any fear when she's in the front row swinging at that left front position, and her team is relying on her in the front row, and it looks like she's still having fun over there on the sideline.
Absolutely. Collins to Wanabu. Nice touch by BYU.
And that's what I think Texas has to go back to. When we saw Morgan Johnson going up and swinging with power, Ebony Wanabu, just everyone taking rips. Forget the shots at this point. If you've got a really good set and you've got a seam to hit, just go up and hit it to get the confidence and the momentum if they want to take the fourth set.
Collins sets Wanabu once more. Great dig from Mary Lake, the libero, number 18 in white. And you're not going to get it past 6'3" and 6'4".
But I do have to say, Mary Lake, BYU's libero, check that dig though. So much room and space, and she is able to get that up. And we've seen two great digs out of the back row from BYU. I mean, she is really building some confidence defensively. She's been all over it, and a great pass too to follow that up.
The one thing that her teammates say about her, the bump set from Lake, is that she is not a freshman anymore in their eyes. She is an Energizer bunny and a great contributor to this group as Texas evens it up. But Lake enrolled this past January, trying to rehab an ACL injury from high school. So she did so in that first semester, came back in the spring, ready to go. There's Boswell. So Boswell now with 9 kills. Recently named the COSIDA Academic All-American of the Year. And that violation as the Cougars were into the net.
And trying to get up early against Ebony Wanabu, just really trying to penetrate the net, which is tough. And Amy Boswell, again, we've talked about it before, she's been working on her blocking, and she's getting some really great touches right now in the front row. Even if it's not a roof or a shutdown block, we're seeing touches that slow the ball down in the front row.
There's that second shot, and Mary Lake going over to Lindy Haddock saying, yeah, baby, yeah.
And we haven't seen Lindy Haddock go over on 2 that often, which is why Texas certainly was not expecting it. So a good decision by the setter to go over on 2 on that play, recognizing that the defense wasn't ready for her to be an attacking front row setter.
Sharp angle. She says, I got my swag this afternoon, baby.
Too much sauce.
Too much sauce.
This is what it is. Texas needs power plays to build their confidence. I mean, they need swings like that. White has to go up and hit strong. Morgan Johnson has to go up and get huge swings. They live and breathe off of plays like that.
4 Longhorns with double figures and kills, led by that young lady, Micaiah White. Too strong. So Boswell will trot back to serve once more. She came off a 14-kill performance, hitting a 444 clip against UNLV, and Coach Jared Elliott has to find a way to slow down this really balanced attack from the Cougars. Skies high in the air. From the middle is Whitney Young-Howard, and we hadn't called her name much in this fourth set, but she was critical in that third.
Yeah, and a great job of Whitney Young-Howard with the out-of-systems ball, not exactly the ball that you want to be taking over, and she was going up against a double block and still was able to make it work. Nice tempo set from Chloe Collins, getting it out to left front and using that tempo to allow Prieto Sarame to use the block. You know that setter Lindy Haddock is front row right now, so that's a mismatch on the outside.
A nice tip shot from Miller. Smart play from the youngster.
McKenna Miller just comes in off the bench and simply delivers from left front. Whenever the ball's coming her way, she comes up with the shot or a good block, or she sets a good block that allows her middle to close. That is just so helpful in that front row presence for BYU.
You see 3 blue jerseys at the net converge. And just too hot to handle for Haddock. This BYU defense is doing a great job of keeping balls alive. Prieto Sarame, though, wind up, swing, and just a little too much sauce on that one. I'm just trying to see how many times I can get it worked into the broadcast. I love it.
We've seen some great swings here today.
That was a last touch that was tipped by the Longhorns, and Tanya Johnson, the assistant, along with Jared Elliott, none too pleased, along with this crowd inside Gregory Gym.
You'll see here looking for a touch at the net.
Yeah, I think it went off of, if not at the net, then Kat McCoy, yeah. Great tip shot by Yazzie Berdatyani.
Just right over the top of the defense, and you're expecting Yazzie to come in with that really tough swing. Every now and then, going with the off speed can just catch the defense off guard, who is dug in, ready to dig that hard-driven ball.
Whitney Young-Howard, again, the more involved she is offensively, the better BYU is.
Yeah, that's probably the most power that we've seen out of her in the front row attack, running that middle. So you can see the confidence just build and build for Whitney Young-Howard, the senior right now.
Whitney Young-Howard back there talking to her teammates. I love just the composure on the sideline and all the smiles from the BYU players. And it was, again, touched. The up official says it was last tipped off the Longhorns. It appeared to possibly be that way. Again, fans not liking it. You don't have the benefit of the replay system here. Although the Big 12 fans are used to having it during the regular season. We implement it next year all around. Had it.
Great defense is being played by the BYU Cougars. And we've seen a couple of times, whether or not the tip or the touch is called, and you're seeing there, it looks like it misses White in the front row. The question is if back row defensively, the floor defender is able to get a touch on that ball. And we can't see it from that angle, but it was called touch on Texas's side and BYU getting the point. But right now, if you're Texas, what you can't be worried about is whether or not the plays are going your way. I mean, you got to get right back into it. You have to find ways to make it no doubt with your first ball transition, with trying to get a first ball kill, and having better ball control down the stretch.
Well, right after Suns-Lakers, it's Sports Center at night with Stan Perrin. We'll have all the NBA, NHL, and college basketball highlights along with the NFL news and everything else in the world of sports. Sports Center at night after the NBA doubleheader on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Well, fans within Gregory Gymnasium certainly have a lot to say as their team down by 4 to BYU, but the action continues this evening as Creighton faces the 12th-seeded Michigan Wolverines, their highest seed in program history, but the Blue Jays coming off a huge win over the 5th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks.
Yes, upsetting Kansas in Lawrence, a huge deal, took them to 5 and walk away with the win, making it as far as they've been in this tournament. And then Michigan, their highest seed ever, so they are certainly riding high, and that's the team that was able to beat Penn State at Penn State. I mean, we're going to see a great matchup between Michigan and Creighton to follow this one up.
Greg Chanel, the 5th-seeded Kansas Jayhawks, as White comes back. Great closing on Lake in that back pocket. And because of her hustle to the right back, able to get to that ball in time, keep it in play. And how about the dig from Lake?
How many times have we seen Mary Lake start out almost in left back, have to make the run, the sprint down the baseline to get all the way to right back to keep a ball alive? And the ball is pretty much a two-pass, so her setter has two options on that play. I mean, this freshman libero is having a day keeping her team alive.
Boswell. Amy Boswell. A 4-0 run being mounted by the Cougars. Lake and Santiago running into the water coolers, almost kept alive until that collision course.
I just knew that that ball is going to stay alive, because right now this is all BYU. All the momentum, all the hustle plays seem to be going the Cougars' way as they work so hard, playing so scrappy on defense.
Lindy Haddock over to her twin sister Lacey. Pancake dig from Haddock. Lacey Haddock. And set up again. Hit them where they ain't.
And the scrappiness continuing to pay off for the Cougars, as laying all the way out to pick up this white tip is a pancake dig by Haddock. And you see her there, she's banging on the floor saying, yep, that ball's up, that ball's up. And then we've got two Haddocks, one on each pin, one putting it down, one keeping it alive right now for the Cougars.
Cougars up by 6. And again, another great dig. The pancake action, this time from Mary Lake. Not able to get to this one is Hannah Robinson. Folks, just a reminder, if you're looking for soccer that's currently airing on ESPN News, Denver versus Wake Forest in the NCAA Men's College Cup. White has been successful from behind the service line. So is Amy Boswell from the middle blocker position.
3 blockers up against Boswell, about a 2-tempo, keeping her off the net there and finding a way to get her kill. A good job, the senior middle blocker there. You see, just off the net a little bit and turning it towards Chloe Collins, who's the shortest blocker up there in that 3-man block for Texas.
McCoy saves it. Collins from Micaiah White in the back row. How about Boswell diving? You don't see that often. Your 6'4" middle blocker diving the way that she just did. But again, talk about the scrappiness, Maria.
Yes, getting after the ball still there in back row. And that's usually what you challenge your offense to do. When you know that there's a middle blocker in the back row playing defense, just go straight at her.
Well, Whitney Young-Howard tried to go right at the block up the middle for the Longhorns, and she was rejected. Still, BYU up by 4 as timeout is taken on the floor, and this group not going away, and certainly the fans that have traveled from Provo, Utah to come and support this squad. Gotta like what they see, as they know this one is not over. They have seen it time and time again this season.
Yeah, the Cougars have definitely come out to support BYU volleyball, and it seems like it's been their set. It has been the 4th set for BYU to lose because they have kind of taken over the momentum. It seems as though offensively, they've been able to find ways to get kills, to create them from their left front. We've seen a lot out of the senior middle blockers. Really, both of them have been very, very effective out of the middle. And then as far as scrappiness on defense, we haven't seen many balls hit the floor against BYU. And in winning the long rallies, it seems as though the Cougars walk away with every long rally. And that's kind of how you sum up momentum in the game of volleyball. They're getting all of those plays, they're staying in the rallies, and their scrappiness on defense is certainly keeping them alive and frustrating these hitters for Texas.
Where you see, again, everyone just getting into the action, evenly distributed amongst the Cougars players, 5 of them with 9 kills or more. And equally on the other side for Texas, 4 players in double digits for kills, led by the freshman Micaiah White with 20. Miller back into the match. So a net violation on BYU. Texas down by just 3. They have an opportunity to win the match if they can take this set. Closely contested in the first frame, 25-23. Then Texas went on a roll in that second set. BYU has stayed in this one. And almost kept alive from the Longhorns. It's the 21st point for BYU.
Good job of Whitney Young-Howard passing the ball, still getting back to transition, and being able to be up for her setter, Lindy Haddock, in that whole play.
Here's Lindy on the serve. Prentice Dumble, Camry Willardson, and Alohi Robbins-Hardy. Just a shot there.
We haven't seen that a lot. We really haven't seen a lot of errors in this matchup, and that's because you can see it in the hitting percentage for both teams. Texas hitting over 300, and we saw BYU hitting almost 300. These teams have not been hitting the ball out. It's been whether or not your defense can play around your block right now.
And down the seam is White.
Nice swing by Micaiah White. Remember, she's back row, but as long as she jumps before the 10-foot line, she can take a swing at it too. And the good news for Chloe Collins is when all of her hitters in the front row are out of the play, she still has that pipe running out of the back row with White.
Another dig for Mary Laker, 23rd of the match. Not able to get to that one though.
We've seen so many great touches off of the block, both of these squads, and Texas finally being able to roof one and keep it on BYU's side. Now Ebony Wanabu is in the front row. I'm sure Texas wants to get their right side going quickly.
Set for Whitney Young-Howard and kept alive. Net violation on the Horns. So fans nervously watch on, hoping that their team, whether it's Texas or BYU, able to come out with this one late.
BYU has put themselves in a position, though. I mean, you are 2 points away from winning the set and putting it to 5, where they could definitely play relaxed. I mean, they can stay in every single play, try to get a great 3-ball pass, and allow their setter, Lindy Haddock, to make great decisions, because so far she's done a great job putting together this offense.
You hear the the excitement, the energy, the enthusiasm, primarily of fans in burnt orange. However, there's some folks from BYU cheering on their team as well. This is an outstanding match. Exactly what we would want to see and more in the regional semifinal. Again, you go back to 2014, the last time these two teams met, these two programs met. It was the national semifinals, and it was BYU pulling up the big upset over Texas. And Amy Boswell was a part of that team.
She was, and she talked about it at the press conference. She remembers some of those feelings of pulling off the upset, and she wants to relive that here today. And she's been a big part of the success that we're seeing BYU have right now, whether it's swinging from that right side or staying active in the play in the middle. I mean, just being up and aware, finishing at the net, being that physical presence that BYU needs her to be. She was set the tone from the very first set. Even though BYU didn't walk away with it, she was the physical presence in that first set that let Texas know that it wasn't going to be an easy match whatsoever. She's kind of hung in there, kept her team alive. She's still doing it right now on the sidelines. 7 blocks. I mean, she's about to have a double-double with kills and blocks against the Longhorns. It's a lot to be said for the senior, just trying to keep her season alive right now and push this thing to 5.
Great vocal leader for Heather Olmstead. Big swing and a wonderful placement from Ronnie Jones-Perry, and that allows Boswell to sub back in off the change of point.
The ultimate utility player, Jones-Perry, and now the opportunity for BYU to make it a 5-setter against the Longhorns.
Texas staving off set point number 1.
And remember, BYU had to get away from 2 match points against Texas in the 3rd set in order to even get to the 4th. So now Texas put in the same situation.
You hold your breath with every hit, and Amy Boswell helps lead her team to a 5th set. We're going the distance, baby.
We have seen it from both sides. Texas came out strong with a lot of physicality in the first 2 sets. BYU was not having it, staved off some match points, and now we're going into a 5th. Can they pull off the ultimate upset?
Sneakers after being down 2 sets to none, it's BYU inching their way back into this one, keeping it even. Now we're in a 5th set, and you go back to 2014. BYU and Texas met in the semifinals of the 2014 tournament. They came in unranked, the Cougars. Started out the gate strong, up in the match 2-0. Jennifer Hampson and Alexa Gray would combine for a whole bunch of kills. And how about BYU going on to beat Texas 3-1, and we mentioned Amy Boswell a part of that, along with Whitney Young-Howard. 5 players today with 10 or more kills for the Cougars. And for Texas, they've been led by their phenomenal freshman in Micaiah White, also with a double-double, 21 kills and 17 digs. You see how even there, though, Texas and BYU are in the hitting percentage. The advantage goes to the Longhorns, and they have hit particularly well, especially in the final 5 matches of the season.
Well, the key to success coming into this thing for BYU was offensive balance, and that's certainly what we've seen with the stat that you recited. 5 players with 10 or more kills. They have relied on a little bit of everyone to get things done. And on the other side, we talked about Texas and good ball control, and I think that that's something that we've seen decline as the course of the match has gone on, and that's coming from the passing, the serve receive, all the way up into defense, and putting Chloe Collins in a situation where she can really set up the offense the way that she would like to.
Well, both of these teams have gone the distance this season. It's the 7th for BYU, the last one coming late November against Loyola Marymount. course, the Longhorns want to forget the last time they were in a 5-setter down by Iowa State. Everyone's trying to play some finesse volleyball, and instead of taking big hacks at it, we are used to seeing Wanabu do so. There's Lake right there, nice dig. He's trying to play the finesse game. Point Cougars.
And I think the finesse game goes in favor to the BYU Cougars, to be honest. They've shown that they can stay in the long rally and win that point. Texas has shown that they can win a rally fast with that first ball kill. So they're going to have to start taking swings earlier, put some power behind the ball, because they've got that physicality at the net.
And there is some discussion as
basically calling it a lift.
Okay. I couldn't see what the signal was. And so the down official called it a lift. Chloe Collins going to speak with the up official. And every point so critical as you go to 15 in the 5th set. You have to win by 2.
You're right, so it's completely shortened the set right here. So you're almost playing quick games to 5. That's what we always talk about. Win the first to 5, win the second to 5.
And BYU seems to have the momentum right now. Coach Jared Elliott calls a quick timeout as the Cougars come out of the gate with 3 straight points.
And we've seen it happen a couple of different ways, but the final one, that great stuff block, and BYU is just ahead of the Texas offense right now, getting shoulder to shoulder, 2 blockers up on that pin hitter, and making sure that they can get a good penetration block finish and roof.
Now the question and call on the second point of this set was Chloe Collins taking a look. She was called for a lift right there at the net. What do you see?
I think it essentially looks like maybe BYU didn't touch the ball, so it was a double. She went up, touched it on the block, then came down, touched it again. But it's not as if it was a block or a joust at the net. So because BYU didn't touch it, it's almost like passing the ball to yourself, then setting to yourself. She touched it on the net, it dropped down, she touched it again. So it wasn't a lift, it was a good hit off her fist, but it didn't touch that Cougar block.
Well, the Longhorns have some work to do because the Cougars here on the road have come back from 0-2 and lead here in this 5th set early on. That one, the service ace from Mary Lake.
We have certainly seen that freshman libero get it done for her team playing defense, but how about her just stepping back? And that is a great serve. Look, Texas is changing their entire serve receive because of that great serve by Mary Lake. And how about another ace to follow that up out of the freshman?
Back to back. She's got 29 on the season, and wow. Block touch, and here's Haddock right there to Kat McCoy. Nice dig. Wanabu to Lake, and Haddock still playing it. Thought she got the pancake. Down official says not in time, so that's Texas's first point of set number 5.
And Texas probably just happy that Mary Lake is no longer on the service line. She came straight out with 2 aces, so they're happy to have the serve back, but they're certainly going to have to put some pressure on BYU and stay in a long rally.
Again, just being in the right places at the right times are the BYU players. As well, coming down strong. Lake kept alive again, and she was hoping that she would have some backup there from that save.
Mary Lake had great coverage on her hitters. She came up with a couple of digs, and that was almost popped up and kept alive too. She's all over the court right now.
And that one from Ronnie Jones-Perry, and last touch from the Longhorns.
And Texas has put themselves in a situation where they're going to have to run off a string of points at some point. So it's either going to have to be rallying behind a serve right now, but they're going to have to side out first, which is going to take some ball control.
And there's the big boom from Wanaboo, but somehow kept alive. Second time's the charm.
I said it in my head. Just give it to her again. I mean, enough power on the first one that you might as well feed the beast one more time and see if she can get it going. Good decision by Chloe Collins, going right back to Wanaboo.
Longhorns trailing by 3. Boswell got him.
Love the high contact point of Boswell, just coming in there, good transition and arm swing, keeping it away from the Texas blockers. Ball control again is what the Longhorns will need to give Chloe Collins a good pass.
The overpass. Feed Wanaboo again. Haddock kept it alive. There's McKenna Miller. Morgan Jones just got a hand on it. And diving attempts from the Cougars. This time they elect to go with Morgan Johnson.
You see right now, Collins is on the 3 pass, going to either her middle or her right side. I mean, she wants to feed them. It seems as though, for the moment, BYU has definitely pulled the card of the left front hitter. Doesn't matter if it's Paulina Prieto-Sarame or it's White right now. So she's going with her right side and her middles.
Again, Miller coming through with another kill, and they'll switch sides.
BYU won the game to 5. Now they're trying to get to 10 first. And it's just a matter of staying ahead of the play. I mean, they're staying in the long rallies. A great job with all the scrappy defense.
Well, you go back to the 3rd set for BYU, such a defining moment for them. Mary Lake has been so key in every set, but especially down the stretch. Listen to this crowd. And that went out, but boy, was it close.
And a good up by Amy Boswell. How about the dig where the middle blocker just stepping in there, getting that ball up off the ground. Now you get your libero, Mary Lake, back into the back row, who's done such a great job scrubbing clean the floor for BYU's defense in the back row.
And White on the service error comes at an inconvenient time if you're the Longhorns. Every point so precious. And you could hear Mary Lake saying, easy, easy, easy. Finding that soft spot of the defense that she saw to try to help set up her outside hitter.
And you rely on the voice of the defenders that are behind you, because players like Mary Lake, she can actually see what's going on defensively on Texas's side. So she's talking to her hitters, telling them where to go. Head of the communication, not only leading up the defense, but trying as much as she can to help her hitters find the spots that they need to hit. So BYU in a very comfortable and free position. And Heather Olmstead said, the pressure's on Texas here. They feel as though, obviously, they need to be at the national semifinals, and they come in with that top 4 seed. So we're just going to go out and play free. We're going to play, obviously, with reckless abandon. We're going to play hard. There's pressure on us. Of course, we want to win, but it's definitely not riding down our back in the same way that it is for Texas right now. So she had a good feeling coming into this match with her Cougars.
When you go back to that third set, so critical. Texas had an opportunity to close it out, but again, such gritty play from the Cougars.
Texas had 2 match points. We wouldn't even be here right now, Tiffany. We'd be having a bathroom break, getting ready for Creighton and Michigan, but the Cougars, they weren't having that. They said they wanted to take it to 5 and keep it alive, keep us in our seats, watching them, trying to make their way into the next matchup.
It ended on a foot fault from Micaiah White to, again, push it to a 4th set and a 5th set. And look at Mary Lake. She likes the music that's being played inside Gregory Gym, but again, unfazed by this freshman. We've talked about just the way the seniors have been such leaders on this team, the bench as well, but McKenna Miller and Mary Lake, got to credit those freshmen. BYU 4 points away from pulling off another upset over Texas.
You're going to need a lot more of that from Prieto Sarame in order for Texas to string together enough points to just get back into this 5th set. I mean, you got to protect the serve, so you have to be able to play defense right now.
The foot fault is called on BYU. So point goes to Texas.
And it looks like they're saying Lindy had her foot completely under the net. She's, going up to try and save it, and just lands on Texas's side. Her whole foot goes under. A part of your foot could touch that line, but not your entire foot.
Bumps up the outside to McKenna Miller.
And you see the difference there? McKenna Miller goes up to swing with power. I'm just going to use the block. I'm going to play free. I'm going to swing. Prieto Sarame, she goes up and tips over the block. Easier play for BYU, who's been really good in transition, and they get end up getting the point in that play.
Good observation by you, Maria. Again, a soft touch from the back row. And just eyes weren't on a swivel. Well, the last time Texas blew a 2-0 lead in a match was back on September 18th here against then number 6 Wisconsin. Just getting over the net. Again, the finesse game this time working for Texas. You want to see them take big swings, but sometimes you got to mix it up.
Yeah, you want to see it smart. You want to see it played both ways, and a good tip definitely by Ebony Wanabu. But there are also times in transition when I feel as though Texas is taking it a little easy. They're not going up with their swing. And to the credit of BYU right now, they take advantage of everything. They're cleaning up those tips. They're getting a great pass up to their setter. And right now, Haddock is doing a great job distributing the ball evenly amongst all of her hitters. And that's something that BYU prides itself in is that balance that they have on offense. They don't necessarily need to rely on just one player, but when your number is called, you respond, and that's what we've seen at every single position. And it's players that we've seen like Whitney Young-Howard. She kind of came alive in that third set when they really needed her. We've seen Amy Boswell step up. She was great in that first set. So it's almost been a different player every single set for BYU having success.
You talk about being able to just go after it with reckless abandon. BYU here in this fifth set at a 318 clip, just 250 for Texas. Both teams still hitting well, but BYU being the more aggressive swinger.
They are playing with aggressive efficiency right now. I mean, they are going up and taking their rips and their swings when it is appropriate, and that is reflected with that hitting percentage right now.
Texas down by 3. BYU 3 points away from 15. Remember, you have to win by 2 in this fifth set. Wow, Mary Lake once again. Mary Lake, you just keep calling her name for BYU, number 18 and white. And now the hard swing working in favor for Texas.
Loving the hustle right now on both sides, man. But you're right, Mary Lake is everywhere. And you see the tip by Wanabu, which has worked before, the great pancake dig, getting it up, Lake keeping it alive, and then Wanabu comes with the power and gets the kill.
Whitney Young-Howard, again, you mentioned her third set, how important she was there, and just losing the footing there was had it.
And there's the power. There's the power that you're looking for out of left front. There's still some fight in the Longhorns, trying their best to get their crowd involved, and here they are, up, out on their feet, no longer sitting here in Gregory Gymnasium.
And no reason to. Maria, we have been treated to some excellent volleyball.
We really have.
And more on the way with Michigan and Creighton coming up next.
You see them lining up over there in the corners. Michigan's trying to figure out what's going on. We got some Creighton fans over here in the right corner. Just checking this thing out. They're ready to get things kicked off too. The NCAA tournament continues, but it's a battle going on right now between the Longhorns and the Cougars. Neither team willing to give up the fight right now.
And for our viewers who are looking for men's College Cup soccer, that's coming up next between Denver and Wake Forest. But looking on are the Michigan Wolverines. They are ready to go as their 12-seeded Wolverines are about to take the court and be in action against the Big East champs, the Creighton Blue Jays.
Creighton's fresh out of a volleyball country.
Yeah.
They know how to watch volleyball. They know how it's played, and young ladies grow up wanting to play volleyball.
So both teams out of timeouts here in this crucial fifth set. The first to 15, you have to win by 2. And Texas on the serve. To have it, White on the dig. Big swing from Prieto Cerami. We're tied at 12.
You're looking for some power. How about a dig by White, keeping that ball alive. Chloe Collins having to push it all the way out to Prieto Cerami, and a little bit of power keeping the Longhorns alive and tying this ball game up here in the fifth set.
Texas on a 7-1 run. But back the other way, Whitney Young-Howard.
Seems as though Whitney Young-Howard comes up with the kill or the play or the block, whatever is needed for BYU. She's kind of been that critical point player for the Cougars.
Remember, Lake had 2 critical service aces in this fifth set. Boswell. Match point, BYU. Not so fast. And Roundsville checks in to serve. Great dig by Roundsville and left back. Here's Micaiah White, kept alive by Haddock, nobody there.
The play that Texas needed to keep the ball game alive was right there. Huge dig. Chloe Collins going to her freshman, and Micaiah White with the kill down the line.
Wanaboo. Match point in favor now of Texas. This is some heated stuff, Maria. Saved by Wanaboo, pushed over by McCoy. Boswell again, and it's out! Texas hangs on by a thread!
Just when you thought the whole set was unraveling right before the Longhorns' eyes, they had to go on a run of a lifetime to finish out this fifth set. It wasn't easy, but the Longhorns found a way to do it, certainly, relying on some veteran leadership in Chloe Collins and some freshman finesse in Micaiah White. And now they get to advance to their 11th straight NCAA regional final right here in front of their home crowd.
How about Texas closing out on an 11-3 run after being down by 6? Gotta tip your hat, though, to the BYU Cougars, who gave the Longhorns a scare at home. Once again, your final score, 3-2. Texas advances to the regional final. Coming up next, the 2016 Men's College Cup between Denver and Wake Forest. For Maria Taylor, I'm Tiffany Green saying so long from Austin. Let's send it out to Houston.